Today we're going to go over budgeting. Now, most people hear that word and immediately switch off. They think spreadsheets are restrictions, stress, and never being allowed to buy anything, coffee, or doing anything with their money. Honestly, I think budgeting gets completely misunderstood because if you do it properly, budgeting isn't something that you suffer through every month. You don't have to carry on doing it. It's actually just a once-off system that gives your money a direction. So the idea after this video is you'll have a much better direction of what to do with your money. In this picture, it explains it all. On the left, you have someone who has never done budgeting, but at the end of the month, they always think, where did all my money go? I treated myself way too much. I'm now paying off an overdraft that I didn't actually need. But if you take the time and you just sit for one afternoon or two afternoons to just go through your expenses and see where your money is, you will be a much better off and you will think of your past self as a genius and you will have financial freedom and it will taste amazing. So I've built this very simple budget tracker and monthly expenses tracker that you can use that you'll be able to do it once and live a stress-free life thereafter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over these things with you. And in this table, what we have to do is we have to download our statements of our credit card, our debit card, and see where we're spending our money on a month-to-month basis. And what I want you to do is I want you to just take the time and put all your expenses that you can think of. Netflix, Amazon, council tax, even though they have not collected our dustbins for a whole year, we still have to pay it. Fuel, takeout, shopping. What else do we have? Utilities, your water and lights, etc. A morning coffee. You end up spending some money on some coffee, some Friday treats, weekend beers or drinks, whatever you do, and date night. Don't forget to treat your significant other. So then once you've listed all your expenses that you have every month, I want you then to put in the value of how much that you put in there. So for me, it's £36, £9. For Amazon, 240. We're in quite a nice area. 65 on takeout, 200 on groceries. Utilities, because it was cold this winter. Morning coffee, I spend about 140. Friday treats like fish and chips or whatever. I don't feel like taking lunch or anything and work. So weekend beers about 180, depending on if my football team made the Champions League or not, which they never, but anyway. And date night, depending on where we go. So now that I've listed all my expenses and I've put them there, what I want you to go do is I want you to identify, is that expense a fixed cost, a variable cost, or is it just for living life? Rent is considered a fixed cost. So I want you to put an F for every time you see a fixed cost. So you have fixed costs on that. Okay. And everything that changes or can change, so fuel, for example, is a variable cost. You don't have to worry. Takeout also changes depending on how much you take out. Shopping changes depending on what you buy, and how utilities, how much you use. Morning coffee is not really considered an expense in that sense. It's more seen as a purchase of living life. So we'll put an L of that. Friday treats, sufficient chips. Then we've got weekend beers, and date night is a living expense. These are like what you could consider luxuries. And in this, you set up a target. Now I'm going to fast forward a little bit here, and I want to put in a calculation. I want to say, what is 3 times this amount? Okay, so that is £7,200. Now we'll get back to this later. The next page is where you put in your monthly income of how much you earn. And then from here, this would all be 0 and 0. The spreadsheet automatically calculates your fixed costs, which is the addition of all your variable costs and fixed cost added together, which, if I go back, is this over here. And your spending and living is added in this column here. Now, as you can see, you've got about £980 left over for you to spend. And you have to determine where you want to spend that. You can spend it in 3 other sections. You can put it in savings, you can invest it, and you can also live and do more things with your money. But the top priority is that you need to have an emergency savings account. And why this is so important is because it gives you peace of mind for if life happens. For if you lose your job, or you have an accident and you need to get your car fixed, or something comes up and you have to spend money. You don't want to be financially stressed. You don't want to have to then go into debt in using your credit card or an overdraft. You want to use what you've saved. And this brings us back to this amount here, right? So this is the magic number of, for 3 months, right? I need to save 2,400 every month on top of everything to get to the £7,200. Now, if we see what's left over, 980, we can then do another calculation and say, what is that divided by 980 will give us about 7.5 months. So this is months to save. Then what we do is we set up a direct debit that will then save £980 every month automatically. It'll just save that money, and you do that for 7 months, because in 7 months' time you would be able to save £7,200, which is 3 months buffer and savings. Now this is super important also for your psychology, because you need this. You don't want to lose your job and then have to take the very next job that comes up if you don't like it. You want to have some time and some buffer that will protect you. Once you've saved that 7,200, you can then change this completely and just top that up by £50 every month. And then you can invest highly into your stocks and shares ISA or the S&P 500 or something, and earn 12% of your money on this value. And when you look at where our target range is, 23% in investing is a hell of a lot. So what I do recommend in this case is you can then treat yourself. You've taken the time, you've taken 7 months to save diligently. You're living life, but you're not doing anything crazy. So you actually want to be able to save for a nice holiday. So let's say you want to continue to invest. You want to continue to top up your emergency savings. That means you've got £430 left. So what we can do is we can say holiday to Ibiza. And we can say, well, I'll put in £280 every month as a living expense on top of everything. And I could put more. Was it 430? So I'll save £430 every month until I can save for my dream holiday in Ibiza. And I'm still investing £500. I'm still saving. I'm still living in the same place. My fixed costs don't change, but my living expenses go up. And this is exactly in your target range. It is so important that you have, firstly, an emergency fund, holiday fund, short term goals saved up so that you can act if an opportunity comes in. But likewise, you also need to live your life. So, first, build up your emergency fund, then start investing. Then you can start dabbling into living a better life, eating, buying new clothes, and having the best time with your money. And you just need to do this once, and you will have a healthy relationship with money.